coming back to PVR Rare, Director's Rare, is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's called Director's Rare.
Okay.
Like I said, the first time the first release for PVR Director's Rare was Good Night, Good Morning. They sold only 1,500 tickets. But luckily for independent cinema, they didn't stop with that. They continued playing one film after another. They kept releasing films, and over the last...
You're like what, the spearhead of this entire
Ours was the first one. I'm glad they didn't stop because it didn't work back then. Because slowly the 1,500 became 3,000, it became 6,000, it became 25,000. Then before you knew it, a film like Jaane Bhi Do Yaaron, which released in ages ago,
movie,
and it didn't make money back then. It released through PVR Director's Rare and made like 50 lakhs or something like that, you know. So
this is the reruns that happened.
The reruns, yeah. Okay. So the market had become bigger.
What exactly is PVR Rare? I mean, is it a set of theatres by itself?
No, PVR Rare is just a slot created by PVR. It's curated by Shiladitya Bora.
Okay.
It's a one-man team.
And who is he in PVR?
He heads alternate programming.
Okay.
And so he created the slot, obviously because the management wanted to
So
create the
is
space.
it like a kind of reverse integration?
Yeah, I guess they
own theatre, so let's go back into filmmaking. Is that what
I guess it comes into their CSR, you know, corporate social responsibility. So they wanted to give back something.
Okay.
And they also had empty screens, empty seats.
That
so
helped.
probably that helped. They're the largest chain in India, and they're the only people who are doing something about independent cinema right
now. What about all the rest that we're watching nowadays, whether it is Satyam in Madras or...
No, they run to 100% occupancy. In fact, they pull off content which doesn't do 70%, 80% and things like that. You know, because the demand is extremely high.
Okay. For their theatres.
For Satyam. In fact, the terms are also very vastly different from the terms.
Okay.
So the PVR was a good thing because they offered us 50% upfront. They said, and usually the way it works is independent filmmakers are not paid that well, you know, and also they are asked to invest in marketing spends. But PVR said that, no, we just give you a 50% upfront for the first week, second week, third week, doesn't matter, we'll give you 50%.
What is the 50%? 50% of what?
50% of the ticket price after tax.
Of ticket price, but how do you know how many are going to come and see it? How many
but
people?
That's how the business works, right?
So they just do an estimate?
No, the actuals, based on actuals.
Oh, based on actuals. But how can they give an advance when
they don't give an advance. Nobody gives advance.
Okay, so all they're paying you is 50% of whatever they make.
Whatever they make. So that's how we made a lakh.
And are you going to get show timings, or regular show timings? Or are you going to insert it between breakfast and tea?
Yeah, that kind of happens. It depends on the kind of releases that happen. So we got like we were lucky. We got 19 screens, out of which only maybe half a dozen were like 8:30 in the morning or 11:15 at night. The rest were all like
reasonable
slots,
timings.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I said, the important thing was for them to like keep doing it again, to keep doing it till it succeeded, and they've successfully nurtured and created a market. And PVR Director's Rare today is the only avenue for independent films in India. And thanks to that, we've got some fantastic films that have come out and done actually well. Films like Shay, which would have otherwise never released.
Okay.
Films like Love Wrinkle Free, or Superman of Malegaon, which is a gem of film.
You still classify these kind of movies? Is it based on budget, or is it based on the independent guys making it? Is that how?
It's based on everything. It's, I think, budget and the kind of thought that goes into it, the kind of content. If it is alternative content, there is no avenue for it. If it doesn't have stars, there is no avenue for it.
Okay.
So I guess it's a combination of budget, content, lack of stars.
No avenue for it is because the people also don't support
there is
it, or
no
is
market
it the
because
theatre itself it does?
Yeah, because it's become a more marketing game, that studios pump in something like 25-30 lakhs on marketing spends today. You know, there's no the big ones I'm saying, because if they want to collect 100 crores, they make sure they pump in 25 crores in just marketing. Yeah. That's how they make their 100 crores.
Yeah.
25% of market, 25% in marketing.
So do they pay a correspondingly large amount of money to the maker of the film, or they say we are spending so much in pushing the movie, so take it cheap?
What's happened is a lot of stars have become producers themselves, right?
Okay.
So I guess
so they take the hit.
They don't
gambling that
they
it
don't
will
take
do
the
well.
hit. They know that if you put in 25 crores, you will get.
You'll sell.
Plus, a lot of it is their salaries. So I'm pretty sure that they'll at least break even. It can't be that bad.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but there have been cases of unknown films coming out of nowhere and doing extremely well.
Yeah.
There are.
Yes.
Not very common though.
Not very common, but at least it's a start. There have been films that have been doing well, like Wiki Donor, which probably didn't spend 25 crores on publicity. Maybe they spent only 2 crores or 3 crores.
I think the theme was what sold it.
Yeah. But the thing is that their marketing spends were not as high as anyone else. But because
was that an independent film, an indie?
Independent, most in films made in India are indie because they by independent producers. Okay. But ultimately, you need the studio to put in the P&A cost. You know, you need the. That's how indie films become studio films. Like Lunchbox was an indie film till UTV picked it up. Ship of Theseus.
Isn't there a need? Oh, that's obviously a stupid question I'm asking, but I'll just ask you for the heck of it. Is there any independent avenue where people like you can utilize just that for people who like independent films or new type films? Go and watch there and don't go into the mainstream television channels, and because the ads will never come there.
Yeah.
Is there any area
no, there is no avenue. But the Doordarshan recently, last year, what they said is after all that independent film movement, the signature campaign where 10,000 signatures were signed. You know, a lot of filmmakers signed this thing saying that the government should do something to support independent cinema.
Okay.
And finally, the government said, okay, we will screen once a week one national award winning film or one film that's been to any of these 16 festivals around the world. Okay. We will give them 25 lakh rupees for 3 screenings of this film for about 3 years, okay. Which is a very good amount. But again, the process is a little bureaucratic. You know, you have to apply. You have to spend something like 5,000 or 10,000 in just applying, and you could still get rejected, which means you'd lose 10,000 rupees.
Okay,
and then it can't be an adult film. And most independent films are adult film. They're not made for children, right? So because of that, because the state is not tolerant towards adult content, there's a long way to go, but at least it's a start. Today, you can actually make a kids film.
So your third film, which was this...
which is called X.
Yeah.
So to beat around the system, having learned how
okay,
these
now
things
I'm
work.
going to run out of time in this little episode. We'll come back to talk about X, because X sounds intriguing.